Hello, everyone. It's Thursday, 1542. Well, let's... $15:42 and 33 seconds. The year 2021. The month 12. December. And is that the 2-day? It is 2-day. December 2, otherwise known as 2nd. And I just wanted to get this one on the record, published, Public Witness Publishing, because last night, well, let's just say, as you can see at the top, it says breaking. Rumble to combine with NASDAQ listed CFVI. Now, I'm recording this video because this here is part 2, the Matrix mainframe pre-programmed computer that runs on autopilot that controls all brains and bodies. In this hologram that we live in. And so, I say this because last night was the first time that I posted on Rumble with some clarity exposing what's going on at the Secretary of State besides the election fraud. Besides the election fraud. Last night, I posted on this channel here. This is called Gail Golek. And last night, I mentioned what is going on at the Secretary of State records. The UCC-1 financing statements, which are public notice who's the secured party and who's the debtor. Secured party is another term or phrase or word combination for creditor. So keep in mind now, that after I posted a comment on this particular video, and we see the title, Gail Golick interviews Arizona Audit liaison Ken Bennett dash, yes, there were fake ballots. And it just so happens that Ken Bennett, the guy in the picture standing next to Gail, supposedly that's her name. It could be something else. But I'm assuming that Gail is the lady who interviewed this man on the video. This man is a former Secretary of State. So that's what brings us to and I got to get a different wrench because this one was too small to fit the toilet. Hold on, we'll hear some clinking and clanking in the toolbox. There. Now, I put the 1/2 inch down and grabbed the 9/16 and see if that is to be the right size for the toilet at work tomorrow to adjust the toilet seat bolt or nut that holds the seat, the toilet seat in spot securely. Anyway, the point of this whole video, as a reminder, is we have a sign, some sign. We have some signage in the Matrix computer program. This wonderful brain-controlled, body-controlled computer program that we live in, hologram. And I am recording the event sequence. The event sequence. As I said, first I posted for the first time a clear picture as to what is really going on at the Secretary of State. And I mentioned in the video that what if and could it be that this whole Biden-Trump show that's playing out before us, controlled through the Matrix pre-programmed autopilot computer, otherwise known as a hologram, what if the Biden-Trump show is a high-level computerized program to divert everyone from the Secretary of State election fraud, not necessarily diverting from the election fraud, but The election fraud is a diversion from the Secretary of State creditor-debtor records. What if could be? What if could be? Now think on this, folks. What if? What if this whole Biden-Trump pre-programmed matrix autopilot hologram that we're living in, which, through the way, is also a big what if and could be, because everything is a big what if and could be until every last single one of us, without replace the of with love, till all of us actually know for sure what's going on behind all the hidden military government underground bunkers, military bases, with all their scientists in experimental warfare, mind control, MK Ultra, whatever you want to call it. The point is, would you really like to know what's really going on behind all these closed doors in the skull and bones closet? Which would be a real audit. A real audit. Not just an election fraud audit, which could be a diversion from the real audit that actually exposes everything for what it is. Because it could be, folks, that everything hinges around the U.S. corporate government bankruptcy, which means that the people that were running the U.S. government corporate bankruptcy, that would be the same type people that you and I are, just regular everyday people. These people that were running the U.S. government corporation bankruptcy, or the U.S. government with all its military and all its CEOs and all its employees and everything that the corporation is. It went bankrupt, and the people that were running the corporation that went bankrupt, obviously they ran out of money, didn't they? Now, this is all just a big what if could be, folks. Now, if these people that we shall refer to as a most popular term going around the earth right now, they're referred to as, let's just call them the fake medias, the fake doctors with their fake COVID and fake masks and their poison vaccines, otherwise also known as the swamp. These terms are very popular with many people throughout the whole globe in every country on this planet. Now, what if these fake media doctorate swamp people, otherwise known as liars, thieves, murderers, which is just a bunch of terms to describe what a bully is. And I'd like to add, not just a bully, a mud-stuck, abusive bully, stuck on abuse, stuck in the mud with it. So what if, I'm saying, what if these bullies who were running the corporate U.S. government that went bankrupt they ran out of money. Not only did they run out of money to pay back their loan that they loaned from a bank, they ran out of money to run and fund their U.S. government corporation. So we have to ask ourselves, if these fake media doctorate swamp people, everyday people just like you and I living in the neighborhoods, the rich neighborhoods, the medium class neighborhoods, the poor neighborhoods, the ghettos, the streets, you name it. They live amongst us, obviously. If these people ran out of money, one would probably have to ask the question, where in the hell, or heaven, or Buddha, or Allah, Muhammad, and all the religions that the Vatican has created as more diversions. That's another subject. Where in the hell have these people been getting their money to fund, to continue running their corporation that went bankrupt? Where do you think they're getting their money from? Is that a fair question to ask, folks? Now keep in mind, if they went bankrupt, I'm saying, if they went bankrupt, and when I tell you where they're getting their money and all their funding from, that big if they went bankrupt is probably going to be more than likely they went bankrupt, because the place where they are getting their money, folks, is also the same place. It all starts at the same place in the condition we are in today in current events, called this fake media, mask, epidemic, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, otherwise known as the hospitals. So how does the hospital play into getting money? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. It's called birth certificate. Straight up. Birth certificate. That's where these people are getting the money to continue funding their belly up, bankrupt U.S. corporate government, which, through the way, is a worldwide government. It ain't just the U.S. But we can get into that in another subject. But still, even at that, you might be thinking to yourself, how in the hell in God's green earth, Allah, Buddha, Muhammad, and all the religions that you could think of for the names that they call their creators. How in the hell did these lying-ass fake media swamp people manage to get money out of people's birth certificates? And keep in mind, these birth certificates were created. And that's the same term that's used in all the religions when they go around and they tell everyone, someone created you. Just keep that one in mind. But anyway, I'm gonna reveal to you how these people are getting money, how they're tapping everyone's birth certificate, otherwise known as the creditors, to the bankruptcy. Yeah. If these people, these swamp people, ran out of money, they ran out of money. Where are they getting their money? Well, if these hospitals created these things called birth certificates, folks, birth certificates, and if these birth certificates are worth little baby's value from age 3 to age 120, wouldn't that be worth a lot of money? Isn't a birth certificate printed on bank paper, folks? Is it not, or is it? Is a birth certificate printed on bank paper? And if it is printed on bank paper, we would probably want to ask ourselves the question, why are birth certificates printed on bank paper? Could it be that these birth certificates are actually worth a whole lot of money? Huh? Isn't that what banking is all upon? Huh? Isn't banking all upon money? Huh? Now I say all this because there's more to add to the education. I say all this on this video because what if this whole Biden-Trump election fraud, which is also run through the Secretary of State. The Secretary of State oversees all the elections that happen in the states, otherwise known as the corporation. The corporation and state are the same idea, same thing. There is no difference. They're just different names for the same thing. Government, state, corporation, country, it's all the same thing, folks. What if this whole Biden-Trump show, this election fraud show that's being played out on the Matrix mainframe computer on autopilot, also known as a hologram? We've all heard of the movie Hollywood called The Matrix. And we all know that all counties' property taxes are due May 15th. And more than likely, everyone knows in their gut feelings inside themselves that no one should be charging anyone anything. So that's why we call it the Big Matrix. But that's another subject we can explore. But anyway, this matrix that we live in, this brain control, everything's hooked up to a computer. All these thoughts that are running through the brain, all these body actions that are happening, all this Biden-Trump stuff that's going on, all history that's been going on. Because another part to the what if with the Matrix autopilot hologram that we're living in is called governments and militaries teamed up with extraterrestrials, higher intelligence in the universe. And that's another subject to explore. But remember, everything's a what if could be. And so, as I conduct an audit, yes, I am conducting an audit, just as everyone in Maricopa, Arizona, in relation to this video that I'm commenting on or mentioning in this video that's being recorded as of now. Remember, it's all just a what if could be. But I like to give extra evidence and clues so that we can say to ourselves, well, if the U.S. corporation government, otherwise known as this world order we've been living in, which through the way is also run according to the UCC, which is the same alphabet letters used for the UCC-1 financing statement at the Secretary of State's office, known as the creditor debtor record. The creditor debtor record. The creditor debtor record at the Secretary of State's office. The UCC, Uniform Commercial Code, is the one and only master code that all attorneys use across every nation state on this planet, folks. The Uniform Commercial Code, otherwise known as the UCC, is the master code that is used that all attorneys abide by. And when I say the word buy, I'm not celebrating to go out and buy something on a shelf or buy something from anyone. And I say that because as creditors to the bankruptcy folks, and the records that were put in Congress, everything is supposed to be Treasury prepaid. And this is the big one. If the people are the creditors to the worldwide bankruptcy, because every nation trades the US dollar, that's how you know every nation went bankrupt. Boom. Every nation participates in the bankruptcy. You don't need someone to really give you evidence and say, "Oh, could you prove it to me?" Because it's common knowledge for everyone around the earth that follow or that looks into the financial situation we seem to be in. That's common language on the street for a lot of people. Yep. The US dollar is used in every nation, and you cannot trade in any nation unless you trade the US dollar. So that's how you know. That's one of the clues that you can use and say to yourself, wow, I see something here. I see something here. Every nation went bankrupt. Every nation is bankrupt. All the fake media Dr. Swamp people who've been running the bankrupt World Order Corporation, hiding behind a corporate veil known as liars, thieves, murderers, killers, all kinds of wonderful things that we know, child sacrificing going on, all kinds, human trafficking, you name it. This select few elite people and all their families and friends living in the neighborhoods, a little conglomerate team they got going together, a special club they have with each other. And it's all a big secret just for them. That's the way it's been anyway. It ain't a secret no more though. It's been a secret for a long time. That's been the biggest secret since a long time. Now, this same corporation that went belly up bankrupt and the people running the corporation went belly up bankrupt, and they learned, or let's just say this, the universal energies forced these people to look for a way to get some money, and the only opportunity that they had to get some money was to create birth certificates, which represents people's capacity to labor. In other words, they learned and they were forced in a position. The only place they could get money now was to steal people's labor. That's just another term for slave. So, the universal energies forced these people into a position to be exposed. But they managed to hide it for the past 86 years now is when this happened, because they created these birth certificates June the 5th, 1933, otherwise known as HJR 192, House Joint Resolution, and it's also known as other names too. But you don't need to know all the codes. You don't need to know all the paperwork to go look at, because you can just look and see what's going on around us and say to yourself, oh, I wonder what these birth certificates are for. I wonder what the real story is behind these birth certificates. And I wonder what the real story is behind the Secretary of State with these things called the Creditor-Debtor records. Which, just as they did the big flip-flop with the elections, the biggest news in the town isn't that. The biggest news in the town, folks, is that they also flip-flopped the creditor position and the debtor positions on the people 86 years ago. And so when you go to the Secretary of State's websites and you start searching around, you're going to see this thing called the UCC, otherwise known as the Uniform Commercial Code. Because just as every nation cannot trade unless they trade with the bankrupt US dollar, all these nations also follow the same Uniform Commercial Code, the UCC, and all the attorneys abide through the UCC. And isn't it strange and funny that the creditor-debtor records are also made public notice to everyone, and they must fill out a UCC-1 financing statement. And I'm going to tell you something very fishy going on. When anyone signs a UCC-1 financing statement and puts it in the Secretary of State's office, that is just a public notice that someone has a lien position in place. Oh, this gets us to the real lawful affidavit, because that's what a lien is, folks. It's an affidavit. And an affidavit is only an affidavit because it has two signatures on it in agreement to what is on that affidavit. Two or more. The minimum is two. But this gets us all into other subjects to examine that in itself. But I am saying this information very clearly on this screen record video that I am going to put on YouTube, and then I'm going to copy and paste a link to everyone around the whole frickin' world on their video platforms. And especially this Rumble channel here called Gail Golek, who is interviewing this particular former Secretary of State for, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this though, I'm pretty sure it's for the same state called Arizona, the city called Maricopa, Arizona, which has conducted the very first initial audit on all this fraudulent election stuff going around. So remember, the main point why I am recording this video, if you can, let's remember at the beginning of the video, because it's been around 30 or 40 minutes now we've been recording this video. From the backyard at this place that I hold a lawful lien on. Yeah, a lawful lien on this place right here in Springfield, Oregon. Springfield, Oregon. Legally known as 150 S Street, Springfield, Oregon. Which gets us into another subject that we can examine as to why it is that I am giving an audit across the whole globe as to what I know that's going on. And I am presenting clues, and these clues, if people get in touch with gut instinct and common sense and look around and see the trees bend and say to themselves, wow, I see the tree bend. Could be that the wind is blowing. You know, and part to the tree bending is these birth certificates at these hospitals. And do you think that these hospitals got something to hide? And why you think all this mask stuff is going on and all this vaccine stuff is going on? You think someone's trying to shut people up so they don't get exposed for what's really going on at the hospitals? Besides this fake pandemic, which is just a diversion. A diversion because it gets really close to home when we start exposing what's going on at the hospitals with the birth certificates and the bankrupt U.S. corporate New World Order government that's been going on for a long time now. It gets real close to home and we think to ourselves, if Biden and Trump are controlled by some type of matrix mainframe computer hologram, and these governments and militaries are in cahoots with some extraterrestrials, aliens, or whatever the hell's out here in this universe, you think that possibly this is an audit on some highly intelligent things that are out here? And exposing something beyond Trump and Biden? Huh? I'm just saying, what if could be What if this is some type of matrix hologram and it's all computer programmed on autopilot, and there are moderators moderating the program? Yeah, extraterrestrials, aliens, universal intelligence. What if? Wouldn't we want to know then for sure, huh? Wouldn't we want to inspect all these military government bunkers? What the heck are they hiding? And we know that they've been hiding technology from us, advanced technology from us. Where do we think this advanced technology has been coming from? Do you think there's some high-level intelligence extraterrestrials in the universe who are nothing but a bunch of young little children bullies stuck in the mud with it? Abusive? No different from any other body-brain combination like humans or animals? We all have the capacity to be a childish little bully, don't we? Yeah, even the extraterrestrials, with all their high-level technology and trickery, able to trick everyone and everything and manipulate them with mind control, connect them to a computer system that's on automatic pilot. Yeah, You think that these entities really don't want to be exposed for what they really are? Otherwise, their whole control universe grid system comes down. I would think, but it's just a story and a what if. I would really want to know, though. Gee, I wonder if it's all possible without any bills for it all to come down. And then we shall see clearly what's really going on in this existence that we seem to be caught in or have been caught in. And how it all ties in to the hospitals with the birth certificates and the corporation that went bankrupt. And if they went bankrupt, they obviously ran out of money. Where the hell have they been getting their money from? And the birth certificates are printed on bank paper. I think it's... And how they tricked the mothers to fill out a birth certificate application bond with one signature. She signs it with one signature. But when the birth certificate is created, the doctor signs and the mother signs. Does that sound like a stepfather, otherwise known as the state nanny father, who has now replaced the real father? Does this sound some evidence that's kind of quite obvious? We all know that stuff like this has been going on. Does there really need any real proof? Except for the fact that one might want to study how an affidavit functions. 2 signatures, an affidavit, is that birth certificate. 2 signatures, the doctor's and the mother's. That's an affidavit. Except it's a legal affidavit and it's a fraudful affidavit because the doctor did not explain to the mother the truth, what was really going on when she started signing stuff. That's called fraud. That's called no full disclosure in a contract. Because an affidavit, folks, with 2 signatures or more is also known as a contract. That's fraud. Not only, so what I'm saying is all this election fraud, is it just a diversion? Or could it be
that something in the universe is giving us a clue to look a little closer at what's going on at the Secretary of State. And that would be the creditor-debtor records, which they also flip-flopped. Because we, the people, are the creditors. And the people been hiding behind the corporate veil, running everything, screwing everyone. They're the debtors. And their head Darth Vader more than likely is some extraterrestrial. More than likely. Could be what if, though. Could be what if. And as creditors to the bankruptcy, creditors to the corporate bankruptcy, folks, everything is supposed to be Treasury prepaid because we labor. That's where all the value is for anything. One's capacity to labor. But it seems to me, and probably to a whole lot of other people, that our labor has been stolen, hasn't it? Also known as tyranny. Also known as being a slave. Also known as rape and being forced into something. Yes. Uh-huh. Woo! Now, I think I've said enough on this video. It's probably going to be close to an hour on this video. As soon as this thing publishes, I'm going to post it on her channel. But remember, the real reason why I started this whole video is because, look, when I pulled up the smartphone and it went back to this lady's video last night, who is conducting the Maricopa, Arizona, putting up videos to let the public know what's going on as far as the progress to the Maricopa, Arizona audit, which has been delayed with its final forthcoming. But anyway, as soon as I turned the smartphone on, popped up this pink headline at the top of the screen, and it said, breaking, rumble.com to continue with NASDAQ listed as CFVI. And I'm saying to myself, I wonder what's kind of sign is going on with this matrix computer automatic pilot program we seem to be caught in, living in. I wonder what's going on with this little thing, as because I posted last night to be a little bit more clear with what's going on at the Secretary of State beyond the election fraud. That will be the creditor-debtor fraud. I posted a wonderful comment on this lady's channel last night, explaining stuff somewhat more clearly for the first time ever on someone's video channel. And then what happens today? Bam! pink headline at the top of the computer screen. Breaking. Rumble.com to continue with NASDAQ listed CFVI. In case you don't know what NASDAQ is and the birth certificate relationship is, folks, I'm going to give you a clue. These birth certificates that also represent our creditor positions, they're traded on the stock market, in case you didn't know. Yeah, traded on the stock market, which these swamp people been controlling the stock market, and they ensure that these birth certificates turn profit after profit after profit after profit after profit after profit to continue running their corporation that went bankrupt. Stealing the people's credit position, stealing the people's equity, stealing the people's freedom, stealing the people's health, stealing the people's access to universal knowledge, stealing everything. So anyway, I'm gonna finish this video and go inside and get something to eat, have a bath, and get ready for work tomorrow. Temporal night order work. Bullshit, slave shit work. Big difference between volunteers' labor than bending the knee for some suck ass lying out their teeth. More than likely some type of team group effort between the government's military and extraterrestrials. Could be, what if? Anyway, that was an outside in the backyard union state as to what the hell's going on. That's why I say we need more technology on these screen record, smartphone, iPhone screen records to have a picture or a camera that sees me in the backyard as I'm walking around the backyard, and you can see all that's going on all around. Anyway, until that gets here, all you got is just some dude's voice. It probably sounds like all the other videos I put up, though. Huh? Anyway, later!